Cadmium is a toxic heavy metal that occurs naturally in the environment. Though its widespread use in various industries has raised serious health concerns. Found in soil, water, and air, cadmium is often released into the environment through mining, industrial processes, and even the burning of fossil fuels. While this metal has several applications in manufacturing, such as in batteries, coatings, and even some pigments, it has become infamous due to its presence in consumer products, particularly jewelry. Though it is inexpensive and malleable, making it an attractive material for jewelry makers. Cadmium poses significant risks to human health. This heavy metal can accumulate in the body over time, causing a range of harmful effects. One of the most concerning aspects of cadmium exposure is its tendency to accumulate in the kidneys and liver, where it can cause irreversible damage. Over time, this buildup can lead to kidney disease, bone loss, and respiratory issues. Furthermore, long-term exposure to cadmium has been associated with cancer, particularly lung and prostate cancers. Research has shown that cadmium is a carcinogen, meaning it can cause changes in the DNA that lead to cancer. But the effects don't stop. Their cadmium also disrupts the body's ability to absorb calcium, leading to weaker bones and an increased risk of fractures. It's a metal that, despite its seemingly innocuous use in products like jewelry, can lead to serious health complications. Jewelry from budget-friendly platforms. Is it safe? Over the years, concerns about cadmium in jewelry have increasingly focused on cheap, mass-produced pieces sold through online platforms like Wish, Temu, Shien, and others. While these sites may offer stylish jewelry at an affordable price, they often lack the oversight and regulatory measures that ensure safety in their products. Jewelry made from cadmium is particularly common on these platforms, because the metal is cheaper and easier to work with than safer alternatives, making it an attractive choice for manufacturers looking to keep production costs low. The problem is that many of these products are not subject to the same strict regulations as those sold by established jewelry brands. In fact, cadmium is still found in jewelry sold by these online retailers, despite efforts to regulate its presence. Several reports from consumer watchdog organizations have revealed that jewelry from these platforms contains cadmium in quantities that exceed safety limits. This is concerning because cadmium can easily be absorbed through the skin, especially when jewelry is worn for long periods of time. The risk is even higher for children who might put jewelry in their mouths or wear it for extended periods. How does cadmium affect the body? When cadmium enters the body, it is absorbed through inhalation, ingestion, or skin contact. Once inside, it binds to proteins and accumulates in organs like the kidneys and liver, where it can cause long-term damage. The metal has a particularly strong affinity for the kidneys, which is why kidney damage is one of the first signs of cadmium toxicity. The body has a difficult time eliminating cadmium, so it can build up over time, making the risks worse with prolonged exposure. In addition to kidney damage, cadmium is a known cause of bone disease. As it disrupts calcium metabolism, it can lead to a condition called osteomalacia, where bones become soft and prone to fractures. This is especially concerning for older adults, who are already at risk for osteoporosis. Lung diseases are also linked to cadmium exposure, especially for people who have inhaled it in industrial settings, such as those working in cadmium, mining, or battery manufacturing. However, cadmium exposure through jewelry, while less direct, can still contribute to lung and respiratory issues over time. What's particularly alarming about cadmium is its classification as a carcinogen. Long-term exposure, particularly in high doses, can lead to the development of cancers, most notably lung cancer. Studies have also shown links between cadmium exposure and prostate cancer, making it an especially dangerous substance to be aware of when choosing products, particularly jewelry, which we wear close to our bodies for long periods. The McDonald's cadmium recall, a wake-up call. One of the most high-profile incidents involving cadmium and consumer products occurred in 2010 when McDonald's had to recall millions of Shrek-themed drinking glasses that had been sold as part of a promotional campaign. The glasses were found to contain cadmium in the paint used for the colorful designs. While the cadmium was not in a form that was likely to be ingested, The presence of the metal in a product marketed to children raised alarm bells. The McDonald's cadmium recall serves as a cautionary tale about the hidden dangers of everyday products. Although the company acted swiftly to recall the glasses, the incident drew attention to the potential health risks of chemicals in consumer goods, especially those made for children. It also exposed the lack of stringent regulations for certain materials used in manufacturing, particularly when it comes to cheap, mass-produced items. This case was a major wake-up call for both consumers and manufacturers. It underscored the importance of being aware of what goes into the products we buy, especially those intended for children or those that come into frequent contact with the skin. If something as seemingly harmless as a collectible glass can contain dangerous chemicals, what's to stop the same thing from happening with jewelry, toys, or other consumer items? Should you worry about cadmium in jewelry from online retailers? When it comes to jewelry, particularly inexpensive pieces sold on platforms like Wish, Shien, and Temu, the presence of cadmium should be a serious concern. Jewelry from these retailers often comes from manufacturers in countries with looser safety regulations, meaning the products could contain harmful levels of cadmium that go undetected by authorities. In the worst-case scenario, wearing cadmium-laden jewelry on a regular basis could lead to health complications, especially if you're exposed over a long period of time. But what can consumers do to protect themselves? The first step is to be educated about the risks. While not all jewelry sold online contains cadmium, it's crucial to be cautious, especially when dealing with inexpensive, mass-produced items. Look for certifications or labels that indicate the jewelry is free from harmful chemicals, and avoid pieces that are sold by companies with questionable safety records. Additionally, it's important to stay informed about recalls and safety warnings from consumer protection organizations. If you're concerned about a specific piece of jewelry, check to see if there have been any reports of cadmium contamination. How to protect yourself and your family. If you're worried about cadmium exposure from jewelry, there are several steps you can take to reduce the risk. First, choose jewelry from well-established brands that have a track record of quality and safety. Many reputable jewelers will test their products for heavy metals and include information about their safety practices. Second, be cautious about the types of jewelry you buy for children. Because children's bodies are more sensitive to toxic substances, it's essential to make sure any jewelry they wear is free from harmful chemicals like cadmium. Look for products that are labeled as cadmium-free or that meet safety standards set by organizations like the ASTM, American Society for Testing and Materials. Finally, when in doubt, avoid buying inexpensive jewelry from unknown online retailers. While it's tempting to get a great deal on trendy pieces, the risks associated with cadmium exposure aren't worth it. Opt for higher quality jewelry that guarantees the use of non-toxic materials, and be mindful of the long-term health risks. Conclusion: cadmium is a dangerous substance that can have serious health consequences if we're exposed to it over time, whether it's through inhalation, ingestion, or skin contact. Cadmium can accumulate in the body, causing kidney damage, bone disease, lung issues, and even cancer. The risks associated with cadmium exposure are particularly high in cheap, mass-produced jewelry from online platforms like Wish, Shien, and Temu, where safety regulations are often lax. The McDonald's Shrek glass incident from 2010 serves as a stark reminder of how cadmium can be hidden in everyday products, even those marketed to children. As consumers, we must be vigilant about the products we purchase and take steps to protect ourselves and our families from harmful chemicals. By choosing jewelry from trusted brands, checking for certifications, and avoiding poorly regulated online retailers, we can minimize our exposure to cadmium and keep our health safe. Stay informed, stay safe, and make sure your jewelry choices don't come at the cost of your well-being.